So I guess the first thing I should do is formally introduce myself. My name is Tristan. I work in the young adult department at the Butler Library. And as I said, today we are going to be talking about volunteering within the community, specifically for teens. So I have a few resources, and I printed them out on these bookmarks, which if you picked up a grab and go bag, then you should have those. If you don't have one of these, I can either print more out and you can pick one up at the library, or if you prefer, I can always email you one. Really, it's just a little bookmark that just has some resources on it, some websites that you can go to, and it also has the library information to speak to either myself or Miss Tiffany for further resources and info. So let's get started with some of the websites that you're able to use to find volunteer opportunities. I'm starting with the best one, which might be a mistake, but I'm really excited about it. So this website is called volunteermatch.org. And what it does is you can either use it with an account. You can sign up for an account, and in that way you'll be able to save volunteer opportunities. You can save searches so that you can get notifications whenever, let's say that you're interested in helping animals. You can set up a saved search so that way you can get emails anytime that there is a animal volunteer opportunity in your area. However, you don't need to create an account in order to use this website. So the first thing that you do, as soon as you get to the homepage, you're going to see this search bar here that says get started beside it, and you can either type in your city or you can type in a zip code. So I went ahead and I typed in 16001 for Butler. I'm going to go ahead and click on it just to make sure that that's correct, and then I'm going to hit get started. Okay, now from here we are now seeing every local volunteer opportunity in our area. There are some ways that you can, as you can see, I mean, there's over 3,000 volunteers needed for Butler, PA. So there's ways that we can change the search field to make it a little bit more specific so that you're narrowing down to things that you either are interested in or things that are inside a certain mile radius. So if we go ahead and click on advanced search, this is going to bring up this advanced opportunity search. We're going to leave country on United States. Location is auto-filled for us as Butler, as it remembers it from the field that we entered it first. And then I'm going to go ahead and change the distance to, we'll say 5 miles, just to see, what we have. And then there are options here where you can type in the organization name. If you say want to volunteer at the Butler County Humane Society, you can go ahead and insert it there. If you are looking for certain keywords, say you're looking to help at a food bank, you could go ahead and type food bank into this keyword box here. Another great thing about this website is that you can specifically look for opportunities that are either kid-friendly, teen-friendly, or something that I think teens could get into is there are options where you can have groups of people volunteering at once. So if you're somebody that maybe has a little bit of a social anxiety, I know I do, then you can feel a little bit more comfortable going with a group instead of just yourself. With any of these opportunities, I'm always going to recommend either calling or emailing or both the organization prior to going to the physical location to volunteer. And if you are a tween or a teen or a child, then definitely make sure that you're going with an adult, a trusted adult, to these locations prior to, going potentially by yourself or with the group. So definitely always make sure that you're staying safe and staying smart with that information, and make sure you're not giving out too much information over the phone. So this website's awesome for that. I love that you can search just for things that are specifically, teen friendly. You don't have to worry about being turned away because you're underage. So that's great. And then down here in the cause areas, they break down the volunteer opportunities into different groups of interest. So we have advocacy and human rights, animals, arts and culture, board development, we have children and youth. If you're into technology, we have some opportunities here. There's crisis support, disaster relief, education, environment, if you're, if you feel strongly about keeping the environment clean and protecting it, then you can check out environment options. And then there's hunger, homelessness, justice and legal if you're interested in law. There's politics if you're looking to volunteer for something a little bit more, not more active more than anything else, but more of like an activist kind of stance, then you could go with that. There's race and ethnicity if you want to look at volunteer opportunities that can help people of color in your community. Veterans, women's, sports and recreation also could be fun. So there's plenty of options on here, and you can select one or more than one. So you can go through and you can just basically choose what interests you and see if anything shows up. Further down, we have skill sets. So let's say that I'm looking for volunteer opportunity, and I cannot stress enough that volunteering with your specific skill sets is the best thing that you can do. If you are well versed in, we'll say, technology, and you are good with, let's say, we'll say good with even internet research. If you're a kind of person that likes to look up information, who reads articles all the time, maybe you're doing that for yourself already. Maybe there's a way that you can translate that into helping out your community. And I think it's really special to be able to give back with something that you are not only good at, but you enjoy, because volunteering is supposed to be something that you enjoy. So I think that's great. You can go through and choose some different skills. There's stuff here in the arts. Say you're good at dancing, you can go ahead and add dance on there. And what you can do if you create an account on this website is, I'm assuming you can create your own profile where you have your skills always listed. So you could get notifications saying, oh, somebody is looking for a volunteer to paint something, and you have painting in your skills, and that's great. You're going to be notified of that. So that's awesome. And then down here, we just have a breakdown of so many cities in the United States. So we're going to go back up. All that we've done on here is I've changed the distance to 5 miles. I'm actually going to change that to 10 just to see if we can get some more catches. Actually, let's do 20. And then I selected options that are available for teens specifically. So I'm going to go ahead and search. Oh, actually, before I do that, there's also an option to do virtual opportunities. And this is something that has popped up more so with the current COVID crisis. So with this, you can actually click on this, and it's only going to show you opportunities that you can do from home, which is pretty great. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to do local here still, and we're going to search. Oh, it says please pick a location. Duh. Oops. We're doing great. Okay. All right, so here we go. So we went from over 3,000 volunteer opportunities down to a little bit under 500. So that's great, we've narrowed it down. If we scroll through here, we can sort by distance. So it'll start with things that are closest to you and going outward to that 20-mile radius. You can do it by the date that it was posted. You can go by when the actual event is happening. I'm going to go ahead and do distance here just so that we can get some more local results. So the first thing it's showing us is some virtual from home. Next thing we're seeing here is volunteering with the American Red Cross as a VA hospital volunteer. We have military and military family outreach volunteer. Here we have at the Glade Run Lutheran Services, which is pretty close. It's in Zelienople. We have animal and horticultural program volunteers. So you'd be working with horses, animals, gardens, greenhouses. If you're somebody that loves outdoors, if you love nature, animals, this could be a great opportunity for you. We have office assistants, and that's in the same place in Zelienople. So if same thing, maybe you are friends with somebody who's not quite into the whole outdoorsy thing, but they love paperwork, because, you know, people love paperwork. Then you could potentially go together and you could both be working at the same place, but providing different services at that volunteer location. So that's great. There's also sensory playground garden maintenance. So it looks like Glade Run Lutheran Services is a place that would be great for volunteering for different skill sets. So let's go ahead and learn more. Okay, so we have here, love animals, enjoy gardening. Glade Run Adventures is recruiting new volunteers for our therapeutic equine, animal, and horticultural program. So you'd be helping out in gardens, greenhouses, feeding and turning in out horses and other animals. It says no skill required, we train. So that's great. And then it'll show us other opportunities within that same organization. So there are several. Okay. Okay, so then we have on the side here, we have when this opportunity is going to be happening. It says we'll work with your schedule, so basically anytime that you can. It gives us the address of the location. The date it was posted was June 15th, so this is still relatively fresh. Some skills that we have on here, again, they said that they would train, but some skills that maybe could help you with the training is prior experience with animal care, environmental education, gardening, farming. And then requirements here, we have background check. You would have to check with each organization, but I would imagine that the background checks are only applicable to somebody over the age of 18. And then we have must be at least 8 years old, so age 8 with a parent or guardian, and then age 12 to 17 for junior volunteers, adults of all ages. And groups, it says, are welcome. So you could potentially go with a group of your friends, and even if you don't want to do it on a regular basis, even if it's just one day, you know, that's more help than they were getting prior. So definitely no amount of service is too small. So that's this website. And again, like I said, this is probably my favorite website that's on this list of resources. It's just great. It breaks everything down very easily. It's easy to navigate, easy to use. Can't speak enough about it. So that is volunteermatch.org. The next website that we're going to go ahead and take a look at here is called Nationalservice.gov. And this is actually a government website, obviously. And from here, you're able to get information on Americorps and Senior Corps. Now, I don't know as much about Senior Corps, but Americorps is a nonprofit organization in which you can, if you're familiar with the Peace Corps, you volunteer and you are placed somewhere in a community that is in need of service. And Americorps will give you a housing stipend, so they will pay for you to, you know, live in this location. They'll give you food stipends, and then as you're working, it's volunteer service, but they're basically paying you to be able to live in this location. And they're also, with a certain amount of hours, they will pay for college classes. So it's a really great opportunity for somebody, maybe if you aren't sure what you want to go to school yet for. I know that was a big struggle for me. And you want to just take a year off of school, then something that you could do is Americorps, and not only would you be getting experience and skill sets that you may not have had access to in the past, you will also have the opportunity to kind of live on your own, but with some guidance, and also to get some education credits. So great. Americorps is amazing. If that sounds like something you'd be interested in, I would recommend that you look into it on your own time, because it is a massive organization. I can't really get into it as much as I would like. But what we're going to do on this website, this is nationalservice.gov, is we're going to serve your community. And right now, this website is very much focused on helping the community during COVID-19, because that is kind of currently one of the biggest things that is needed assistance with. Sorry if that doesn't make sense. But down here, it'll show us some different ways that we can help with this crisis. So there's donating to nonprofits, donating to food banks and pantries, and also volunteering with them. From here, it gives us these two hyperlinks. This is Feeding America, and this is Food Pantries. If you click on either of these, it's going to tell you that you're about to visit a domain that's not a part of this government website. You can go ahead and click Continue. And Feeding America is going to be similar to Volunteer Match in that we are putting in our zip code. Keep hitting that dash. And now it's going to show us that the food bank that is affiliated with Feeding America specifically, is it going to show us? All right, well, it's not going to show us, I guess. It showed me earlier. It's actually the Greater Pittsburgh Food Bank. So if you're not familiar, you can go, if you just Google Greater Pittsburgh Food Bank, you can see what areas they serve, what kind of services they're providing. They do people, or Produce for People, I think is what it's called, the program. They will come out even as close as Butler, and they will distribute produce to families in need. So that would be that food bank that is not listed here. Apologize for that. And then same thing with the food pantries. You're going to go and it's going to show you different food pantries in the area. There are plenty of them. And then each one, I'll just show you here, I guess. Each one here, I will say that this is a little bit more difficult to navigate. So instead of putting a zip code in, you're actually going to go by state. So we'll go ahead and search Pennsylvania. And then once we're here, then we can go ahead and enter Butler, Pennsylvania. I'll go ahead and search. And it's telling me I did not put an address in, so I'm going to instead go to the Butler, PA results page. And then it tells us below is our current list of Butler food pantries. So we have Cabot Food Bank, the Lighthouse Foundation, Southwest Butler County Food Cupboard, and so on. With each of these, I'll go ahead and show you the Cabot here. We can click on the actual food bank. It's going to take us to its directory page. From here, we can go ahead and click to view website and street address. And then, fortunately, these aren't hyperlinks, so you do have to just highlight, give it a little copy, Control-C, and put it in right here. Control-V, paste. And now it's showing us this food bank page. It's telling you what kind of eligibility you would need to, what eligibility requirements you would need to receive food. And then it also tells us some other local food banks. And then it also has the phone number down here and the email. So if you wanted to see about if there are any upcoming volunteer opportunities, you can always reach out. Sometimes it's easier to reach out directly to the organization to kind of figure out what opportunities they have, because not everybody is going to be updating their websites as much as others. And it's just because, you know, they might be short-staffed or any number of reasons. So that's that. Then it also tells us about the Meals on Wheels program, and then we have Helping School, Donating Blood, So if that's something, you know, that you are willing to do, then this will show you the local Red Cross or other blood donation sites in your area. And then we have just simple stay in touch, check on your neighbors, friends, and family, especially those who are older, maybe alone. A phone call, text, or conversation through the door could brighten their day. A lot of people don't really think of those kind of interactions as being official volunteer work because it's not with a specific organization or a nonprofit or a program, but really those are volunteer opportunities. You're volunteering your time, you're volunteering your specific resources, be it, you know, showing up with a bouquet of flowers or anything really. That's volunteer work as well. And sometimes, I don't want to say it's more important than volunteering in an organization, but it's definitely just as important. And then we have volunteering from home, and then we have allforgood.org is listed here for service ideas. So this is going to show us a database of volunteer opportunities that you can do virtually or remotely from your own home. So that's pretty great. So that's the second website. This is nationalservice.gov. This is where you'll find information on Americorps, Senior Corps, and some other resources, you know, broken down in here. So that's great. I think that was everything that we needed to look at on this site. Actually, let's go down here to find a volunteer opportunity. Okay, that's what I thought. So they actually do have a database on here as well. So we'll go ahead and put in Butler. We're doing a distance within 15 miles and go ahead and hit enter. Okay. So this is 6 results found. So it looks like we have BC3 opportunities here. Tutor opportunities, we have Relay for Life, we have volunteering with the volunteer fire department, so more resources on here as well. And then again, they do have the volunteer categories on the side. So that is nationalservice.gov, and you have to excuse me, I'm trying to navigate these tabs without touching the Zoom on the top. So we've gone through those two. The next thing we're going to look at is unitedway.org. So a couple options here on this website. You can find your local United Way. So let's go ahead and do that so you can actually directly talk to somebody that's working in the office. Okay, so our local United Way is just on West Jefferson Street, so very close to the library, and they actually have their own website as well, so it'll show you that and give you the information for phone numbers. And let's let this website load here. In the meantime, actually, let's go back here. If we go to Get Involved at the top, and then we go to Volunteer, this is just, again, another database of volunteer opportunities. So it's showing us over 7,000 results, which is a lot. Again, we have filtering by skill. We can filter by category on the side here, and then we can filter by activity type. And then I believe that's, yep, that's it. If you are looking for something that is more geared towards kids, tweens, and teens, then I would recommend going into the family-friendly category and looking here. And we're actually seeing some of the same opportunities pop up. These are actually with the Glade Run Adventures volunteer services, so it's quite a few. So yeah, those are the 3 main websites where you can gather information on volunteer opportunities near you. And then from there, they also can stem off and you can find even more local websites where you can find opportunities and information and contact information and all kinds of good stuff. So those are the more physical physical volunteer opportunities. The last two things that I want to talk about are kind of a little bit more passive, but there's something that you can do, especially if you're stuck inside. There's things that you can do that can still help make a difference, but you don't have to physically go somewhere. So let's go ahead and close these. And the first website that I'm going to talk to you about, I don't know if you would have learned about this in school or not. I remember we did this in high school a lot. When we go to the computer lab, we would be doing free rice, and it's amazing how much the website has changed in that amount of time, which we're not going to say how long it's been. But so freerice.com is a website where you can go, and it basically, if you are a trivia fan, I know I am a trivia fiend, then you can just answer questions all day long. And every time that you answer a question and get it right, then you will be donating food to people in need. So you can see over here with global statistics, grains of rice that were donated yesterday was over 33 million. And over this website's full lifetime, there's been 202 billion lifetime grains, which is a lot. So what's cool about this, it used to be that you could just answer questions, but now they have this website set up actually where you can choose specific categories. So let's say that you are interested in, I mean, I love English grammar, but let's do something a little bit more simple. Let's say that you're interested in, you know what, let's just do English grammar. And then it also gives you the option to change your difficulty level. So right now I'm set to easiest. We're going to leave it there. And then from there, actually there we go. Okay, so now it's going to ask me which is correct. He is really fast or he is real fast. I mean, they're both correct for being real, but we'll go ahead and put that in there. So now you can see down here, my count has changed from 0 to 10. And there's a little bit of rice in the bowl down here. So we can keep going. The trees are green. The trees is green. The trees are green. And we're getting 20. She drew on the paper. We're up to 30. And I ate lunch and then left. Okay. All right, so we're just gonna keep doing this until it refills. So we're up to 40 at this point. I wanna say it stops at 50, but I'm not certain. Because they're afraid of the dog, they won't come. Okay, that's unfortunate. So up to 50, is that your book? Okay, it's up to 60. How far does this go? Let's find out. Ooh, that's tricky. It's real tricky. Here are one of the boys now. Here is one of the boys now. Again, another tricky one. Those plurals are nasty. Oh my goodness. I could never tell the difference between lay and lie. I still can't. Lay? Okay. Where else did you put it? Oh, is it capitalized? No. Yes. Okay. My goodness. Okay, we're up to 100. I swear that this empties at some point. I live with 3 people, my mother, father, and sister. Be a semicolon. These are the easiest questions. I mean, I got that one wrong. I can't believe this. This is like insane grammar. Each of the boys put on his hat. Yes. Okay, so at this point we hit 110. So it's going to keep our score the same. We're still at 110, but as you can see, the bowl filled and then went back to nothing. So we keep building, and you can do this for literally as long as you want, and it's going to continue to donate food to people. And it's not always rice. It's other things as well. And then as you can see here, we have an option to actually get an app, which could be something that you could do if you're on the bus. You know, if you're driving somewhere on the way to the grocery store or something, then you can just kind of pull that out and be doing something that's fun if you're into trivia, but also helping people, which is awesome. So that is freerace.com. The last site that I'm going to talk to you about, and it's going to be very brief, is a website called icivics.org. I discovered this website about 2 months ago, I want to say, and I got sucked in pretty easily. It's a website that basically has access to all kinds of games that are not only fun, but they also teach you about some important topics. So one of the games that I played is called Activate. You pick an issue that you care about, and then it basically shows you the steps that you would take, both on you start on a local level, so you have like a bake sale to raise some money, and then you can write to your local representatives, and then it moves to a state level, and then it moves to a federal level. So it shows you like different ways that you can be active within your own community, in all of those branches, because your community is your town that you live in, but it's also America as a community. It's a collective, so that is cool. There's also a lot of different games on here about the branches of government. There are a few that focus on specifically the Constitution. There are a few where you get to like act as a lawyer, and you appear before the Supreme Court and argue for or against the case that you are working on, and then you can run a presidential campaign. Basically, all the games they're similar, but they're definitely all fun. I've played them. So if you ever want to check those out, if you're bored and you kind of feel like doing something a little bit more, I don't know, then you can check this website out, and it's just a cool way to spend some time. So